Hey, it's Topham, and it is Thursday, so I'm going to talk about talking. So I'm going to talk about talk shows and influences as to why I have started doing basically an interview show where I talk to various people in the Rooster Teeth community. I felt earlier in the year that this was something I really wanted to do. It was actually one of my goals to complete by the time the year was over, and I just wanted to. I've been really enthusiastic and inspired recently by listening to like a whole bunch of podcasts and just everything going on. I want to reach out and speak to as many people as I can that are in the Rooster Teeth community, which is cool and exciting. And I want to find more people. I want to chat to people that I don't necessarily or wouldn't necessarily have spoken to before. Which is something I'm trying to do with the music show as well, which also came out on Monday this week. And I'm back into doing those. I'm getting those ahead, and having engaged and indulged myself at the weekend, I recorded two podcasts or shows, depending on how you look at it. Really, I really admired. No, that might not be the right word, but really, I got some good feedback, and it really encouraged me to go forwards and try and do more by just hosting and chatting to various people. So I'm now going to talk about the influences and shows that I listened to and watched before that really inspired me. So when I was younger, I really enjoyed watching like TV interviews with originally it was like Parkinson and Jonathan Ross's show. I'd listen to Desert Island Discs where people would choose music. That's really where I've taken a lot of inspiration from for the show where I chat about music, which is why I ask for my guests to choose 5 pieces of music, and I try and keep it to about half an hour long and have questions at the end. It's definitely something I found very inspiring. I then really diversified, and recently I've been listening to a whole host of podcasts. I really started by just listening to the Rooster Teeth podcast, and while that's a great podcast and I like listening to Rooster Teeth talk about things, it doesn't fulfill my need to hear people talk about various things and wide ranges of topics and hear different voices from time to time, which is why recently I've been listening to Nerdist podcast with Chris Hardwick, Matt Meyer and Jonah Ray as the hostful hosts. But yeah, I like Chris Hardwick's podcast because he hosts his show, and sometimes he knows the guest well, sometimes it'll be the first time that they're talking. Like, he had Morgan Freeman on the other week, and it was just like amazing. He hadn't spoken to him before, and he was clearly very happy to be talking to him. And it was really, really interesting. Like, I found it an absolutely fascinating podcast to listen to. But yeah, I found it very, very interesting. Like, when I was younger, I'd also listen to radio a lot. I was fascinated just as much by the music as I was by the conversations, one-way conversations that you can hear on the radio. I thought it was fascinating. But yeah, there's also other podcasts I listen to. I started listening to You Made It Weird with Pete Holmes, and I found the topics he talks about very, very interesting, and the fact that he tries to have a structure to it, and majority do stick to the structure that they've been given, but it does take them about 2.5 hours to get through the show, which is really cool, really enjoyable. Then I've started listening to the Face Rocker podcast as well, which is Rocket Jump's Freddie Wong and those guys, and they interview different people on their show while they are doing it, while they're hosting, and it's a very, very interesting way that they do things. So they'll still do stories and things like that that you would probably get if they didn't have the guests there, but the guests prompt them to talk more as well, which is really, really interesting. And was it last week, I think? It was last week. I went and saw Kevin Smith. And he was like, get out there, start podcasting, record you just chatting to your friends, and just listened to him podcast for an hour and a half as well before. It was just really inspiring for me to be like, really, that's something I really should be doing, something that I enjoy doing. I know that I don't talk well in groups. I don't really discuss well and bring up and step into a conversation if other people are having a conversation. I'm happy to sit out and listen to what they have to say and maybe interject once in a while. But if I'm having a one-to-one conversation, which is what I'm aiming to do with my podcast series, interview series, going forwards is, really just chat one-to-one, really something I'm very interested in. But yeah, that's really just my inspiration, influences, and just the talk shows and chat shows that I've watched, listened to, and just thoroughly enjoyed, and that have helped me and pushed me to my decision of wanting to make a chat show with various members of the community. But that's going to wrap it up for this video. Next video, I'm not sure whether I'll have my hair or not. The one after, I definitely won't, getting it all shaved off. Thanks for watching. Peace.